Since today we are celebrating the Mahasamadhi, keeping your eyes closed, we'll do an affirmation. And here is, brief intro on. The affirmation for today is devotion. No good end is ever reached without devotion. No true success is achieved unless the heart feelings are involved. Willpower itself is a combination of energy and feeling directed towards fulfillment. In the quest for God, the unfolding of the heart's natural love in the form of deep devotion is the prime requisite for success. Without devotion, not a single step can be taken towards Him. Devotion is no sentiment. It is the deep longing to commune with and know that only reality there is. We'll do the affirmation. First time we'll do loudly. Repeat after me. With the sword of devotion, I sever the heartstrings that tie me to delusion. With the deepest love, I lay my heart at the feet of omnipresence. With the sword of devotion, I sever the heartstrings that tie me to delusion. With the deepest love, I lay my heart at the feet of omnipresence. Now softly, with the sword of devotion, I sever the heartstrings that tie me to delusion. With the deepest love, I lay my heart at the feet of omnipresence. Now mentally, with the sword of devotion, I sever the heartstrings that tie me to delusion. With the deepest love, I lay my heart at the feet of omnipresence. Keep your eyes closed.
Let's keep our eyes closed. So reading from Whispers from Eternity by Paramsa Yogananda ji. It's a God's Boatman poem written by Paramsa Yogananda ji. Just listen deeply and go deeper into the Master's teachings when I read this poem and try to understand the deeper aspect of meaning of what Master is saying. I want to ply my boat many times across the gulf after death and return to Earth's shores from my home in space. I want to load my boat with all those waiting, thirsty ones who have been left behind, that I may carry them to the opulent pool of iridescent joy. There, where my Father distributes his all desire quenching liquid peace. Oh, I will come back again and again, crossing a million cracks of suffering. With bleeding feet, I will come. If needed, be a trillion times as long as I know that one stray brother is left behind. I want thee, O God, that I may give thee to all. I want salvation, that I may give it to all. Free me then, O Lord, from the bondage of this body, that I may show others how they too can free themselves. I want thine everlasting happiness, but I want also to share it with others, that all my brothers may find the way to happiness forever and forever in thee. So welcome to everyone. Good morning, everyone, for today's satsang. So today is a very important day of Master's life, where he attained Mahasamadhi in 1952, March 7th. And before leaving his body consciously, he left a lot of message to the disciples to close to him. And he gave that same message applies to us to day-to-day life today for us as well as the disciples and all the followers here. So the main thing is to Swamiji in the new path. I think he has already covered has captured all the events in the last days of Master, where what all things he's tried to convey to his disciples. And that's what I'm just going to give a quick tour of what Master said during his last days of his life and what it means for us in today's life as well. So that is an important thing to understand. So the first thing is the great souls, like the great gurus we see here, the lineage of gurus and our master, our guru, Paramsa Yogananda ji. You see, these souls are the really advanced souls who have taken already several incarnations and to uplift the other souls in the who are really seeking for God, right? And if you see the souls which is really longing for God, right? These great souls, they come and help us, and they are the avatars. They come and help us to uplift ourselves, to reach to their conscious state, right? And if you see an example, how the rain drops, like the raindrops is basically which falls in the ground. It can fall in different places when the rain happens, right? But again, the source, it goes back to the source, right? The same way the soul journey is the same way how the journey happens. Again, the soul is stuck into the various incarnations again, right? So this incarnation of the souls again and again, when it falls in the cycle of that, and breaking that cycle is at one point where we go to the inner reality, when the soul longs for the inner reality in seeking God. That's the purpose of soul, where towards it goes, the end of the goal, right? So when the soul moves towards that, when it reaches the eternal freedom, and when it reaches the end goal, right? And that's the point where it just avoids to come back to this physical plane and help others. Not many souls, they come back to the physical plane. So only very few souls, which is they will come back. Like Paramsa Yoganji was one of the shining examples of such great souls who came to this earth to uplift others. So that's the great message, like what Master demonstrated in his life and how he helped everyone to uplift the souls here. And still, he's omnipresent, and his omnipresence is helping us, and his inner guidance is helping us to uplift ourselves in day-to-day lives as well. So that's an important message we should understand. So this soul journey is like at one point when it goes to close to the enlightenment stage, where it needs a guru, and the great avatars like Paramsa only, they come to this physical plane, they help to those souls to get uplifted. That's what happens. So the most important thing to understand is, as a spiritual family here, if you see Ananda as a spiritual family, it's the most important thing to understand is how this spiritual family helps. Master also demonstrated this with the entire organization, what he built when he was there in his body, where he showed that when all these like-minded souls which come together in seeking God, right? So they are the ones like, that power can uplift the humanity, and the people who are seeking, other souls also who are seeking for the God, actually. So that's what happens, right? So that's what, if we say Ananda spiritual family also, that's what we are doing. So we are always trying to be in line with Master's teachings, and we are trying to follow it in day-to-day life. And also the power of this spiritual family is really uplifting the other souls as well. That's the important message what we should understand as a spiritual family. So if you see the spiritual family, how it is formed, basically, if you see it's kind of in infinite space, if you see a star, how it is born, right? If you see there are two atoms which is drifting together, right? There is a huge pull where these two atoms are attached to each other, and the same way the third and fourth atoms, and huge matter forms, and such a powerful gravitational pulse basically makes as a huge star which has a high gravitational pull to attract other things, right? That's the same way the spiritual family also, we can visualize that how this impacts her day-to-day life also to the other souls as well. So that's an important thing to understand. So Master said, and whenever he said that at the end of his lifetime, he said that connect to me inwardly, like attune with me actually inwardly. It's not like outward ways, like he left his body consciously, but he said that attune with me inwardly. So attune to my consciousness, he said. That's very important thing to understand. So Master also, when he was with his guru, Param Guru, like Sri Yukteswarji, his guru, where many people like felt very tough, difficult to stay with Sri Yukteswarji, because he was very stern and he was really tough, and he was so disciplined, and many people felt very difficult to be with him. But Master never saw his outward things, what he did, and he always saw the divine consciousness behind his guru, actually, behind his mask, basically. That's what he was inwardly connecting to. The same way, if you see the last stage of Master's life, all the great disciples like Swamiji, everybody, they were connecting with him through inwardly. And what he was trying to, they were tapping into his consciousness, trying to understand what was the real lesson he's trying to teach us. That's what they did actually. That's what they demonstrated to us also. So these are the great lessons like for us to really go into his, tap into his consciousness and be in that state of higher consciousness to understand the real meaning of our life. That's what we should practice in our day-to-day life. Okay. And if you see at the end, a lot of things happened around Master, where the great disciple, advanced disciple around him was with him. And he gave a lot of lessons to them, which applies to us also. Like Sister Gyan Mata was one of the high advanced disciple she was, where she was very ill for almost 20 years. And Master would have healed her in just like that in a minute or something. But still, he tried to help us to get out of all these sufferings for the final liberation. That's what he helped her in various ways, actually. At one point, like she was almost ill, and Master felt that she will leave her body, and he rushed to her actually, and then the only thing she asked is to Master is, please don't heal me, please bless me. That's what she said, and that's the most important thing to understand. Such a powerful, strong faith she had in Master. At that point, where her death was taken over, like by Master, took over the control of her life, and that's the important thing to understand here. So if you see at the end, Master made a promise to Divine Mother that until without my permission, you promise me that you can't take her life without my permission. That's what he told to Divine Mother. So that's the thing point. Until she reached to the state of the liberating state, where final state, where Master said, that's done, your job is done, and she left her body. So that's the power of Master, what he played an important role in our life. So in Jnana Mata's life, same thing happens. We have that strong faith, you can break through any circumstances in your life, and with all his guidance, you can come out of it. The same thing happened to me in many situations where I also stuck in some point where I seek guidance from Master. It happens. He comes and guides us. In deep meditation, if you put forward all your questions, it comes back to us with answers. So, and if you see, there is another high disciple like Anand Moy. Actually, he was a kind of highest disciple of Param Sivanji, where he said that he had a lot of issues. Like he had a kind of, his ribs was broken, he had rashes, various health issues he was undergoing. The only thing is he was holding Master's feet all the time. He said that I know how much troubles you're undergoing in your day-to-day life, and please hold of me. And I know that how tough it is. But he said that God is making you stronger and stronger when he is giving you all these tests one by one. And you will have great work to do in future, he said. And after Master left his body, he did a lot of great work in his organization. So same thing applies to Swamiji also. Swamiji also was always trying to be in tune with Master always. And he was trying to understand the deeper aspects of Master. So Master corrected him in various situations where, since he said, you have great work to do in the future. That's what he said. And that's the important thing to understand. There are a lot of tests even Swamiji underwent with Master when he was Master. It's all to uplift ourselves and make us strong. That's what Master keeps telling us. Okay? So these are the various ways like how he uplifted the disciples when he was around us. And right now also we all experience such things, right, in our day-to-day life, where we all undergo such problems, such things, and health issues and other things. But all these things are really protected, and guidance is coming from the Master. So that's the important thing to understand. The next important thing is Swamiji was always asking him, like at the end of his life, where when you're gone, will you be near to us, like how you're physically today with me? Like he was asking that. He said, whomsoever think near me, I'll be near to you. He said that. And that I've experienced many times. So many of you would have also experienced. That's the power of gurus, their omnipresence, and where they are always with us. And when you're attuned to them, they will come for all the rescue and protection in your day-to-day life. And that's what he said. And Master clearly said that he will come back again. And like I said, I read from this poem actually, like even there's a one stray brother is left alone, he will come back trillion times. That's what he said. And that's what happens. Till now, it's all his presence, his omnipresence is helping us to really helping all these great souls where we are together here, right? And so he said that he will come back after 200 years. He'll come back, and he will be in Himalayas, and he'll be in seclusion, where he will call out his close disciples, and he'll take them along with him. So that's what he said. So these great souls, they're coming back again and again. He said that again at one point that such great souls, avatars, when they come, he said that it's like you're wearing an overcoat on a hot sun, where it is so difficult for them to stay in this physical plane in this conscious level, actually, lower conscious level. So that's what he said, actually. So, but still, they come and help us all the time. So exactly before Mahasamadhi in March 7th, what happened is March 6th, I think he is going to leave his body consciously, and he was indicating to various disciples when he came from. He went for a drive and came back to the ashram. He called all his close disciples, and he gave a very important message to them. He blessed them in person, and he gave them very important message saying that. And he gave list of things to follow, and he said, don't drift away in your life with all the delusions which you see around. And he said that don't waste your time in spending various other things which is not important to you. And he said that the cultivating of desire to God is very important in your day-to-day life. Nobody will come and cultivate you within you, and it's very important. And you have to really put effort into that, and that's what he said. And another thing he said that and he said very important thing is to meditate more and be in tune with that higher consciousness and be in the super conscious state and meditate more. He said that again and again, read less and meditate more and think about God all the time. That's what he said. And that's a powerful message which we have to follow in our day-to-day life. And also he said that don't waste time in like talking more in unwanted things or kind of things where you spend with your friends and other things. So it's like quality time is different, but what he was trying to insist is when you have a bucket of consciousness where you fill with this milk of peace, right? Where you meditate, your consciousness is constantly expanding, right? Basically in that state where you can feel that deep calmness and peace, and it's one of the aspects of God. Right? So when you go into that, so when you just start dissipating your energy again outwardly, what happens? Again, your conscious level will come down, right? That's the same thing what he was stressing out, and he was insisting the disciples that just be. And he always said that silence is the altar of God. That's what he said. Okay, so these are the important things what he said. And exactly at March 6th, at the evening when he was going back to his room, he said that I have a great day tomorrow, and please wish me a luck. He said, and he went. And morning again, he came back and he said the same thing, wish me luck. And this Blitmore hotel, where in Los Angeles, was basically where, and he said very clearly that that's where I started first in this city, where he booked a room there and he stayed there and he started the city, that city the first time. So he said that all these things and he indicated everything. And at the end, I think this Indian ambassadors, I think he was addressing such a huge audience, and he was just asked to. He was called for a talk, and then he went and he gave a sweet talk. And even Swamiji was there, and he was documenting each and everything what he was trying to say, his teaching. So that's a habit of Swamiji where he keeps recording his speeches. And when he was talking about this, he said very clearly, "I'll be leaving this body when I talk about India." And he was so passionate about all these things, and he was reading this. He was just reading from one of his poems, like, "Where Ganges and woods, Himalayan caves, and men dream God, I am hallowed, my body touched that suit." This is the last word what he uttered, and he left his body consciously and attained Mahasamadhi. So it's a very powerful message is what we can read. We just can take it from this book, what Swamiji has clearly documented, all these things, what I said. And the most important thing is, how do we practice this now, apply in day-to-day life? A lot of insights what Swamiji gave, Master has given. So let's try to follow these things and try to attune to this great Guru's conscious and there to their infinite consciousness through meditation and various practices what we follow. And that's the way we get the inner guidance. And they are omnipresent. All the Gurus you see here, they're omnipresent. Their guidance is always with us. So that's the powerful message what Master gave in his lifetime. How the great souls helped him, even his great direct disciples helped him to achieve his mission in his lifetime. So, and we're also continuing this as part of Ananda family, spiritual family, and that's the message what I just want to pass it on as part of Mahasamadhi Day today. I'll pass it on to Harish now.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Harish. Welcome to Masters Mahasamadhi. It's such a joy to see you all here. Right? I'll do some readings, right? It may be good to also feel Yogananda ji, he was called a Prema Avatar, right? And how his love really made a lot of difference in a lot of disciples' lives. Okay. Now, when I was reading this yesterday, right? This is from Conversations with Yogananda, how Master, Param Yogananda ji, we call him Master, really felt about his spiritual family. And it was very close to my heart, as soon as I read this. This is something he was telling his American disciples. And he just returned from India to America, and he was just telling his American disciples. When I was in India, the master said, I knew that I must return to America. Yet I felt a strong affinity with India, where the soil breathes love for God. And then, when I returned to America, I saw all of you waiting for me, those especially whom I had yet to meet in this life. You were my real family, much more so than my blood relatives in India. Those relatives were, except for a handful, spiritual strangers to me. You were my own. And this was my true home, my family in God. So that was the attitude of Master towards his spiritual family. It was so wonderful when I read that particular quote, because when we come to a spiritual family, we're all seeking love in some way or the other. Yes, when we actually make a family, even in the world, what we are looking for is love, right? Happiness. And also when we come, and then, this spiritual inspiration starts to come out of us. I mean, what more? What more? There is a soul calling within us saying there must be something more, right? And then this spiritual thirst starts with every one of us. And when we go on the journey, and they were looking for that, guru, right? And the spiritual family to understand our spiritual aspirations. And and especially, one of the wonderful things about the Mahasamadhi times, during the time of saints, right? Saints getting born and saints, passing away is considered very holy in India, right? And it can be very, for Americans, it could be, or even anywhere else, it could be very strange when a person dies, why are you, celebrating, a Mahasamadhi when a person has passed away, right? It can be weird, but the point is when an avatar like, Param Yogananda ji is born, right? The world is blessed. And when he passes away, the world is blessed. Okay. And that's why we celebrate the Mahasamadhi time, right? Because when the avatars are born and even when they leave their body, they leave a vibration, very strong vibration, a very strong power into the world. And the entire place, even when, the entire planet is more or less this. Such was the avatar, the power of an avatar. And it's very hard to grasp mentally, right? So I will just share a story because the Mahasamadhi, Master's Mahasamadhi is very near and dear to me, right? I was in Bhubaneswar. I was, working in IT company, Infosys. Bhubaneswar was, where was my first company. I started working there and I was a spiritual aspirant from a long time. But there was a time, where it started getting more and more, right? I'm looking for my guru. And I didn't know Ananda Sangha, I didn't know, Yogananda ji and this. But I had read Autobiography of Me Yogi a couple of years ago, way back in my engineering. But when I started working, right, I was like, where is my guru? Is Yogananda ji my guru? Is Ramkrishna Paramahamsa my guru? Because I read a lot of different saints, but inspired me in my spiritual life. What is happening? I'm really, and there was a turmoil within me. No, I need my guru, to grow further spiritually. It seems that whatever I'm doing, I'm meditating, I'm doing good work, I'm doing lots of things, but still I don't seem to be, spiritually happy. Something is missing. And when you read Autobiography of a Yogi and other books, you feel, this is the person, who can help me out. But the sad part is Yogananda ji is no longer in his physical body, right? We all, and then especially in India, we feel we need a physical guru, whom we can talk to, we can connect to. He's going to see my karmas. He's going to understand what I'm going through. Only he can help me, right? But Yogananda ji is no longer in his body. And I was like, okay, he's not there. Ramkirtan Paramahansa is not there. Swami Vivekananda is not there. Oh, who is my guru? That was the whole question. And what happened is, I was also not aware of Ananda Sangha during that time. I had no spiritual family even during that time, because I felt nobody understood what I'm going through. But then I was browsing through the internet, right? Yogananda ji and, Kriya Yoga. And all of us would have done that, obviously. And then came up Ananda Sangha on the internet, right? And they were saying that, Swami Kriyananda, who is, direct disciple of Paramhansa Yogananda ji, Sarnasted Ananda Sangha. And there's going to be a Mahasamadhi program right there in, Gurgaon or Delhi somewhere, right? I don't know exactly the place. But there's going to be a Mahasamadhi program, and where there will be gathering of the devotees of Paramhansa Yogananda. I said, okay. I felt inwardly, I'm looking for something. I felt I need to go there. But it was in only 2 weeks. I did catch a train. And I could get only a seating arrangement in train, RAC, right? You just get a place to sit. And I went from Bhubaneswar to all the way to Delhi. I went there with the questions, like all of us have. What is it that I'm seeking? How do I find God? Who is my guru? What exactly I'm supposed to be doing? I went there. And the program started. And there were all these beautiful, saintly people. They were, different Naya Swamis, Shiva Shankara, Jayaji and Hamdaji, no matter what. What happened was, when I was in that environment of Mahasamadhi program, and these beautiful souls started talking, it felt like that satsang was meant for me. It felt like my questions are getting answered. I never asked a question to them, but I felt like my questions are getting answered. I'm here. The beautiful thing is, after the end of the satsang, I was finally came to a conclusion. Yes, this is my spiritual family. Yes, this is Yogananda ji is my guru, right? It was not, some random fleeting, expression or enthusiasm or nothing like that. It was a deep happiness, and there was tears in my eyes. Because finally I understood, I have found my guru, right? And from a soul connection, I always knew he was my guru, but there was some validation that I needed. And as soon as I was there with my spiritual family right there in Delhi, I knew he was my guru. Such is the power of a Mahasamadhi time, right? The guru is always there. You don't have to necessarily physically connect with the guru. Ravata Guru is always watching. And when you have these questions, and he will have his disciples, and all of those, beautiful souls were there, were his disciples, and he will answer through them. He will guide you through them, right? So think about that, feel about that. And even if he was physically present, Paramhansa Yogananda ji always used to say, reach out to me inwardly. Reach out to me here in the Kutastha Chaitanya. Reach out to me in my consciousness. In fact, if you read his books, Swami Kriyananda used to say, Master hardly counseled people through talking. He would do glances, he would do it through his actions. But the whole point was, when you were in that vibration, the blessings of the Guru, right, things changed. And Swami Kriyananda was hardly there for, last 1.5, 2 years with Master, right? But the inner transformation happened for Swami Kriyananda, but over the time, as he went on, as he inwardly tuned into the Guru, right, he changed more and more and more, right? And the end of his life, Swami Kriyananda reached Nirvikalpa Samadhi by the grace of Guru, right? So, in this blessed holy occasion of Mahasamadhi, tune into the Guru through meditation, through devotion, through any way that you can, and know that the Guru is always with you. He doesn't need to be physically present. Our soul is already connected with our Guru. Right? Thank you very much.